Taking 100% responsibility for your life is the first and most important step toward extraordinary success. It is the foundation upon which every achievement, every breakthrough, and every transformation is built. Most people go through life believing that circumstances, other people, or luck determine their outcomes. They blame the economy, their upbringing, their boss, or even their own bad luck for where they are. This mindset keeps them stuck, waiting for someone else to fix their problems or deliver their success. True high performers understand that waiting for external factors to change is a trap. The only way to control your life and achieve massive results is to own it completely without excuses. Taking responsibility means recognizing that your choices, actions, and mindset are the primary factors shaping your life. When you blame others or circumstances, you give away your power. You allow external forces to dictate your direction. Ownership is about realizing that no matter what has happened in the past, the present, and the future are all within your control. It does not mean that life will be easy or free of setbacks. It means that every success and every failure begins and ends with you. You may encounter obstacles, but how you respond to them is entirely your decision. Most people fail to achieve their potential because they never fully accept this truth. They make excuses like, I don't have the right education, or I don't know the right people, or the timing isn't right. Each excuse is a small act of surrender, decision to remain powerless. Ownership flips that perspective. It says, no matter what my starting point, I am responsible for creating results. It empowers you to act rather than wait, to solve problems rather than complain, and to create opportunities rather than hope they appear. Taking 100% responsibility also requires honest self-reflection. You must be willing to examine your life, your habits, and your choices without sugarcoating or avoiding uncomfortable truths. This is not about self-blame or guilt. It is about awareness and clarity. It is about asking yourself, where am I sabotaging my own success? Where am I settling for less than I am capable of? Without this level of honesty, it is impossible to identify what needs to change. Every high achiever conducts this type of self-audit regularly. They take stock of what is working and what is not and make adjustments. Proactively rather than reacting passively to circumstances, responsibility also demands action. Awareness without execution is meaningless. Once you accept that you are accountable for your life, you must act on that knowledge. Every small decision, every daily habit, and every effort you make must align with your goals and your vision for the future. This is why people who blame external factors remain stagnant. They may understand intellectually that change is possible, but without action, understanding is irrelevant. Ownership requires not just thinking differently, but doing differently. Another critical element of taking responsibility is rejecting the victim mindset. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and unfair situations, but constantly seeing yourself as a victim limits growth. Victims wait for rescue, complain about circumstances, and give others control over their destiny. People who take responsibility do not ignore reality. They acknowledge difficulty. But they refuse to let circumstances define their outcomes. They ask, what can I do right now to change this? Instead of, why is this happening to me? This shift in perspective is transformative because it moves energy. From complaining to problem solving, from stagnation to action. Responsibility also extends to your emotions and reactions. External events may be outside your control, but how you respond is always within your control. High performers understand that blaming emotions, stress, or external pressures is a way of avoiding accountability. They take ownership of their mindset, choosing to respond with discipline, clarity, and focus rather than impulsively reacting. This emotional responsibility reinforces confidence, resilience, and long-term growth because it ensures that you remain in command of your own life regardless of the chaos around you. Another dimension of responsibility is ownership of your time and priorities. How you spend each day determines the trajectory of your life. Waiting for perfect conditions or prioritizing convenience over purpose is a form of abdication. People who take full responsibility recognize that every hour is a decision. They guard their time, invest it in high-value activities, and refuse to waste it on distractions or excuses. This focus compounds over time, creating massive results from consistent intentional effort. Taking 100% responsibility also cultivates self-trust. Every time you make a commitment and follow through, every time you confront a challenge, rather than avoiding it, you reinforce confidence in yourself. Self-trust is a foundation for taking bigger risks, pursuing ambitious goals, and sustaining momentum in the face of adversity. Conversely, avoiding responsibility erodes self-trust, creates self-doubt, and reinforces a cycle of dependence and stagnation. Ultimately, accepting full responsibility transforms your mindset from one of scarcity and helplessness to one of power and possibility. It shifts the focus from what cannot be controlled to what can. It empowers you to design your life deliberately, pursue your vision relentlessly, and overcome obstacles with clarity and purpose. Every billionaire, every high achiever, every person who has reached extraordinary success has embraced this principle. They did not wait for luck, circumstances, or external validation. They looked at their life squarely in the mirror, took ownership, and acted decisively. If you want to go from 820 to billions, the journey begins with this principle. Stop blaming, stop waiting, and stop surrendering your power. Own your life completely. Accept responsibility for every action, every decision, and every result. When you do, you unlock the mindset, the energy, and the discipline required to achieve what most people only dream of. If you want, I can also write Keynote 2 in the same style, 800 words, so you can have the next building block for your full $820 to Billionaire Guide. Defining a clear and compelling vision is one of the most powerful drivers of success. Without a vision, people drift through life reacting to circumstances rather than creating outcomes. A vision is more than just a goal. It is a detailed picture of the future you are determined to create, a compelling reason to push through challenges, setbacks, and the inevitable moments of doubt. It serves as both a compass and a fuel source, guiding every decision, energizing every effort. Those who achieve extraordinary success do not stumble into it. They see it clearly long before it exists. A vision creates clarity. When you know exactly what you want, you can filter out distractions and focus on what truly matters. Most people spend their time on urgent but low-value tasks because they lack a guiding purpose. They say yes to everything that comes their way, spreading their energy thin and creating motion without progress. A compelling vision gives you a filter for decision-making. It allows you to ask, does this action move me closer to my vision, or is it a distraction? Over time, this clarity of purpose ensures that your time, energy, and resources are invested in activities that generate the greatest impact. The emotional component of a vision is equally critical. Compelling vision is not neutral. It evokes strong feelings, excitement, determination, even discomfort. These emotions are necessary because the path to extraordinary success is really easy. Obstacles, failure, and rejection are inevitable. Without an emotional attachment to your vision, it is too easy to quit when challenges arise. The vision must be so attractive and meaningful that the pain of struggle becomes tolerable, even motivating. When your why is stronger than your fear, action becomes automatic. A vision also provides long-term perspective. People often quit or settle because they are overwhelmed by short-term difficulties. A strong vision allows you to see beyond immediate challenges to the greater outcome. It turns temporary failure into feedback, short-term discomfort into necessary training, and small setbacks into stepping stones. The future you imagine acts as a magnet, pulling you forward through adversity and helping you maintain focus when the present seems difficult. Without a vision, setbacks feel like the end. With one, they are just part of the journey. Another important aspect of vision is specificity. Vague or generic goals lack power because they do not provide a target for effort. Saying, I want to be successful is not enough. A compelling vision answers detailed questions. What does success look like? What lifestyle do you want? What impact do you hope to create? How do you want to be remembered? The more specific your vision, the easier it is to identify the steps, skills, and resources required to achieve it. Specificity transforms a dream into a plan and provides measurable markers of progress. The vision must also be challenging. Ordinary goals inspire ordinary effort. If your vision is too easy, it will not motivate you to stretch beyond your comfort zone. Growth, wealth, and extraordinary achievement require discomfort and risk. Your vision should feel ambitious, even slightly intimidating, because that discomfort is a signal that you are moving towards something transformative. Easy goals keep people safe but small. Big visions demand courage, action, and persistence. which are exactly the traits that produce exceptional results. Visualization and mental rehearsal are powerful tools to strengthen your vision. Successful people constantly picture themselves achieving their goals. They imagine the lifestyle, the business, the impact, or the freedom they desire. This mental clarity primes the mind for action and aligns subconscious behaviors with conscious intentions. Visualization also reinforces belief. Seeing yourself succeed repeatedly in your mind builds confidence and reduces hesitation in the real world. A clear mental image of the future acts as a magnet, pulling actions and decisions into alignment with the vision. Communication of your vision matters as well. Writing it down, sharing it with mentors, or discussing it with collaborators strengthens accountability. It transforms a private wish into a public declaration. When others know your direction, they can support, advise, and challenge you to stay aligned. Writing or speaking your vision also clarifies it further in your own mind. The process forces you to articulate details, consider obstacles, and define steps, which converts abstract ideas into actionable strategies. Finally, a compelling vision integrates personal values and purpose. Vision without alignment with your core beliefs feels hollow. When your goals resonate deeply with who you are, they energize every action and decision. You work harder, persist longer, and take bigger risks because your vision reflects something meaningful and not just financial gain or external validation. The strongest visions inspire sacrifice, resilience, and creativity because they are connected to something bigger than immediate rewards. Defining a clear and compelling vision is not a one-time task. It is a living, evolving guide. It grows as you learn, adapt, and progress. Successful people revisit their vision regularly, refining it, making it more specific, and aligning it with their expanding understanding of the world. The vision provides both direction and motivation. It transforms vague ambition into focused effort, fear into determination, ordinary potential into extraordinary achievement. If you want to go from $820 to billionaire level success, it starts here. Know exactly where you are going, why it matters, and what the future looks like in vivid detail. A strong vision is the lens through which every choice, every action, and every risk is filtered. Without it, effort is wasted, energy dissipates, and opportunities slip by. With it, you become unstoppable, relentless, and strategically aligned with extraordinary outcomes. Massive action is the bridge between dreams and reality. Many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect conditions, the ideal plan, or the right motivation before they start. They imagine that success will arrive when inspiration strikes or when circumstances become favorable. This is a trap. Motivation is fleeting, unpredictable, and often unreliable. It comes in bursts and disappears just as quickly. Relying on it as the driver of success is like trying to power a car on sparks. You might move a few inches, but you'll never reach your destination. Execution is what matters, and execution requires consistent, massive action regardless of mood, fear, or comfort. Massive action is not about being busy, it's about being effective. Many people mistake motion for progress. They fill their days with tasks, meetings, and low-priority work, telling themselves they are moving forward. In reality, they are spinning their wheels. Massive action is purposeful, deliberate, and focused on the activities that directly produce results. Every step, every effort, every decision is aligned with a larger goal or vision. Without this alignment, even the most intense work becomes wasted energy. The first step toward massive action is discipline over emotion. Most people act only when they feel like it, when they are motivated, or when conditions feel favorable. This is a recipe for inconsistency. Massive action requires showing up even when you don't feel like it. It requires pushing. Through resistance, fatigue, and fear, every successful entrepreneur, billionaire understands that consistency and effort are more powerful than bursts of inspiration. They act daily, regardless of circumstances, and they build momentum that compounds over time. Massive action also requires overcoming fear. Fear is inevitable whenever you pursue something significant. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of uncertainty, it is all part of the process. Waiting for fear to disappear is pointless. The people who achieve extraordinary success act despite fear, not because it is absent. Each action taken in the presence of fear builds confidence, resilience, and competence. In contrast, avoiding action because of fear guarantees stagnation, and regret. Action is the antidote to fear, and fear is a natural signal that you are on the edge of growth. Another key component of massive action is speed and decisiveness. Successful individuals do not overanalyze endlessly or wait for perfect conditions. They make decisions quickly, execute, learn, and adjust along the way. Indecision is expensive because it consumes time and energy while producing no results. Taking action, even imperfectly, is far more valuable than endless planning or contemplation. Execution creates clarity, generates feedback, and accelerates progress. Waiting for perfect timing often means missing opportunities entirely. Massive action compounds. Each small step builds upon the previous one, producing momentum. One effort leads to another. One opportunity opens the door for the next, and gradually progress accelerates. People who rely solely on motivation fail to understand this principle. They wait for a surge of energy, take a small action, and then stop when the initial excitement fades. Momentum is fragile without consistent action, but when massive action becomes a habit, it becomes unstoppable. It transforms small beginnings into extraordinary outcomes. Accountability is closely tied to massive action. When you commit to executing consistently, you hold yourself responsible for results. Successful people measure their actions against their goals, track progress, and adjust strategies when necessary. Action without accountability can be aimless. Massive action requires monitoring performance, reflecting on outcomes, and continually improving. Each action must be purposeful, and every result must inform the next step. Massive action also fosters learning. Knowledge alone is insufficient. Understanding without execution is wasted potential. Taking consistent action teaches lessons that theory cannot. Every failure, setback, and success provides data. Each experience shapes skills, sharpens judgment, and builds intuition. Waiting for complete knowledge or perfect readiness is a form of procrastination. Action produces experience, and experience produces mastery. Persistence is another hallmark of massive action. Rarely do first attempts yield extraordinary results. The process of growth and wealth creation involves repeated effort, testing, and iteration. Those who act massively understand that progress is rarely linear. They embrace the grind, keep moving forward, and refine their approach over time. This persistence, combined with strategic action, separates dreamers from achievers. Finally, massive action transforms mindset. Action produces confidence. Every completed task, every risk taken, and every obstacle overcome reinforces belief in your capability. Waiting for confidence before acting is a common mistake. Confidence is built through action, not before it. The more you act, the more capable you become, and the easier it is to take the next step. Momentum, learning, and self-trust all grow from doing. To move from $820 to billionaire level success, massive action is non-negotiable. Ideas alone will not create wealth, dreams alone will not create opportunity, and motivation alone will not carry you through challenges. The bridge between your current reality and your extraordinary potential is relentless, focused, massive action executed daily, even when it feels uncomfortable, uncertain, or inconvenient. Those who embrace this principle move faster, learn faster, and grow faster than anyone who waits for permission, luck, or ideal conditions. In short, massive action is the engine of progress. It turns ideas into results, obstacles into lessons, and dreams into reality. Without it, potential remains untapped, opportunities slip away, and success remains a distant fantasy. With it, even small beginnings like $820 can be transformed into extraordinary achievement and lasting impact. Action is not optional. It is the defining factor that separates those who succeed from those who only dream. Confidence is often misunderstood. Many people believe it is something you must already possess before you take meaningful action. They think confidence comes first and action follows. This mindset is one of the main reasons people remain stuck. They wait to feel ready, to feel fearless, or to feel fully capable before stepping forward. The problem is that confidence rarely appears on its own. It is not a prerequisite for action. It is a result of it. True confidence is earned, built, and reinforced through repeated experiences of facing challenges and taking decisive action despite fear. At its core, confidence grows from experience. Every time you act despite uncertainty, doubt, or fear, you accumulate proof that you are capable. each completed task, each challenge met, and each risk taken becomes evidence of your competence. Over time, these experiences compound, creating a resilient and enduring confidence that does not rely on external validation or fleeting motivation. Without action, confidence remains hypothetical, a wish rather than a reality. Waiting to feel confident before doing anything is like waiting to feel strong before lifting a weight. The strength only comes through the act of lifting. Fear is an unavoidable companion on the road to success. People often misinterpret fear as a signal to retreat, assuming it means they are unprepared or incapable. In reality, fear often signals opportunity. It indicates that you are on the edge of growth, doing something that matters and stepping beyond comfort zones. Successful people do not wait for fear to disappear. They acknowledge it, move through it, and use it as a guide. The presence of fear is not a barrier to action. It is an indicator that your action has value and that progress is possible. Each time you act despite fear, the fear diminishes slightly and your confidence increases. Perfectionism is another enemy of confidence. Many people delay action because they want everything to be perfect before they start. They convince themselves they need a flawless plan, complete knowledge, or the ideal circumstances. This pursuit of perfection is often a disguise for fear, a way to justify inaction. However, perfection is a myth. Action, even if imperfect, produces learning, adaptation, and growth. Confidence is built through repeated engagement with reality, not through endless planning or waiting. Acting despite imperfection strengthens belief in your ability to handle challenges. Action creates momentum, which fuels confidence. When you begin to take steps forward, even small ones, you start to build a rhythm. What initially seems intimidating becomes manageable, and what felt impossible becomes achievable. Momentum reduces hesitation because each step forward proves your capacity to move through uncertainty. Confidence feeds on this momentum, making the next action easier, the next decision faster, and the next challenge less daunting. Waiting for the perfect moment keeps the momentum at zero. Acting immediately sets it in motion. Experience, repetition, and reflection are essential to building confidence. Confidence is not just about having succeeded once, it's about accumulating a track record of action over time. Each challenge faced, each problem solved, and each discomfort endured reinforces the belief that you can handle whatever comes next. Reflection enhances this process by allowing you to internalize lessons learned, adjust strategies, and recognize growth. Without reflection, experiences may pass without impact. The combination of action and thoughtful reflection accelerates the development of true confidence. Social comparison can undermine confidence if you are not careful. Many people look at those who appear more successful, skilled, or capable and assume they are somehow behind. What they fail to see is that these individuals built their confidence through repeated action, failure, and learning over time. Everyone starts somewhere uncertain. The difference lies in the willingness to act despite doubt. Comparing yourself to someone else's peak moment is misleading. Confidence grows through your own experiences and your own willingness to engage with challenges, not by measuring yourself against others. Confidence is also tied to self-trust. Every time you follow through on a commitment, take responsibility, and act decisively, you reinforce trust in your own abilities. Self-trust is the foundation of enduring confidence. Those who lack it often hesitate, second-guess themselves, or avoid risk. Confidence built through action is reliable because it rests on a track record of real achievements. Waiting for self-trust to appear without testing yourself through action is ineffective. Trust is earned, not assumed. Importantly, confidence is not arrogance or overestimation. True confidence is quiet, grounded, and resilient. It allows you to take risks, confront difficulties, and move forward even when outcomes are uncertain. It is built not by imagining success or hoping for validation, but by repeatedly proving to yourself that you can act and handle the results. Each small step reinforces the belief that challenges are surmountable, risks are manageable, and growth is possible. In essence, confidence is a product of doing, not waiting. It grows from action, resilience, reflection, and incremental success. Those who wait for confidence before acting remain stuck. Those who act first create confidence through experience. The path from uncertainty to mastery is paved by repeated engagement with reality, facing fear head-on and learning continuously. Confidence is not a prerequisite, it is a byproduct of courage, persistence, and the consistent choice to act. If you want to achieve extraordinary success, your first priority must be to take action even when fear, doubt, or imperfection is present. Confidence will follow naturally, reinforced by each success, each lesson, and each challenge overcome. Acting first and building confidence second is the principle that transforms ordinary potential into extraordinary achievement. Habits are the invisible architecture of success. They shape our daily actions, influence our decisions, and ultimately determine the trajectory of our lives. Most people underestimate the power of habits because they are small, repetitive, and often invisible in the short term. Skipping a day of effort or indulging in comfort feels insignificant, but over weeks, months, and years, these small choices compound into either extraordinary results or deep regret. The difference between people who achieve wealth, mastery, and influence and those who remain average often comes down to their habitual behavior rather than raw talent, luck, or intelligence. Habits operate automatically. Once a behavior becomes ingrained, it requires less mental energy and becomes part of the default way you act. This is why consistency is so powerful. When positive actions are repeated daily, whether saving money, learning new skills, or taking focused action, they eventually become effortless and automatic. Conversely, negative habits such as procrastination, indulgence, or avoidance also become automatic, draining potential and compounding failure. Most people fail to recognize that habits are the primary mechanism by which their lives improve or decline, and this invisibility allows both good and bad habits to strengthen unnoticed. The compound effect is what makes habits transformative. Small, consistent actions may feel trivial in isolation, but over time they produce enormous results. Saving a little money each month, learning for an hour daily, or consistently networking can grow into wealth, knowledge, and influence exponentially. The power of compounding works both positively and negatively. Neglecting small actions or indulging in destructive behaviors may seem harmless today, but over years, these choices accumulate into a life of mediocrity or missed opportunity. Understanding this principle shifts focus from instant results to long-term impact, emphasizing the value of daily discipline over temporary gratification. Most people focus on goals and outcomes while neglecting the daily habits that create them. Goals provide direction, but without the foundation of habits, they are unlikely to be realized. You can set ambitious targets, but if your daily routines do not support them, progress will be slow or non-existent. Goals are the destination, habits are the vehicle. Success is rarely the result of occasional bursts of effort. It is the cumulative effect of repeated aligned actions that move you steadily toward your vision. Habits also shape mindset and identity. Repeated actions influence how you see yourself and what you believe is possible. When you consistently take disciplined, productive actions, you begin to identify as someone capable, resilient, and effective. Conversely, when avoidance and procrastination dominate, you reinforce a self-image of weakness, indecision, or inadequacy. Your habits send a constant message to your subconscious. Every day you act is a vote for the type of person you are becoming. Over time, this internal narrative either empowers you or limits you. Many people delay building positive habits because they seek dramatic change or immediate results. They wait for motivation, inspiration, or the perfect circumstances. In reality, habits are built through repetition, not motivation. Motivation is fleeting, and perfect conditions rarely exist. The moment to start is always now. Even small, imperfect efforts compound into significant change over time. Waiting for the ideal moment often results in years of inactivity and missed opportunity. Reflection and adjustment are key to maximizing the power of habits. Simply repeating actions without evaluating their effectiveness may lead to wasted effort. Successful people periodically review their routines, identify areas for improvement, and adjust behaviors to ensure alignment with long-term goals. Habits must be intentional, not automatic defaults from convenience or routine. Conscious refinement ensures that your daily actions continually serve your vision, creating a feedback loop that accelerates growth. Habits also reduce reliance on willpower early in habit formation Actions require conscious effort and discipline. Over time, however, behaviors become automatic, freeing mental energy for higher order thinking and more complex challenges. This is why building strong, positive habits early in life or early in a project is critical. They serve as a foundation for compounding effort, allowing you to scale productivity, learning, and growth without expending constant energy to motivate yourself. Another critical aspect of habit-based success is the integration of small wins into momentum. Each completed habit reinforces confidence and self-trust, signaling to your mind that you are capable of controlling consistent progress. These small wins accumulate into resilience and determination, creating a cycle of action, success, and reinforcement. Conversely, neglecting habits undermines confidence, as repeated inaction erodes trust in your ability to follow through, making future effort feel more daunting. Habits extend beyond personal productivity. They shape relationships, health, and overall life satisfaction. The small, repeated choices in how you communicate, care for your body, manage time, or invest energy compound over time into outcomes that define quality of life. Poor habits in these areas can create long-term consequences that are difficult to reverse, while strong habits create sustainable advantages that grow silently but powerfully. Ultimately, the most successful people understand that results are rarely the product of luck or dramatic effort. They are the result of small, deliberate, consistent actions performed day after day. Habits create the structure within which extraordinary results emerge. They transform small beginnings into significant achievements and turn ordinary potential into lasting mastery. The life you live is the sum of your repeated choices, and by consciously cultivating powerful, aligned habits, you can steer that sum toward extraordinary success. If you wanted to go from $820 to billionaire level achievement, it is not flashy strategies or rare opportunities that matter most. It is the daily disciplined actions that compound over time. Habits are the engine, and your commitment to consistent aligned action is the fuel that drives you toward extraordinary results. Owning your life is the single most important principle for achieving extraordinary success. It begins with a simple, uncomfortable truth. No one is coming to save you. Life will not hand you opportunities on a silver platter. Mentors will not magically appear to guide you at every step, and circumstances will not conveniently align to make success easy. Waiting for rescue, support, or ideal conditions is one of the fastest ways to remain stuck. And true empowerment and achievement come from accepting that your life, your results, and your future are entirely your responsibility. Many people live in a state of passive dependence. They blame circumstances, criticize leaders, or complain about the system, believing that external factors are the primary determinants of their success. This mindset creates stagnation, encourages excuses, and fosters a sense of helplessness. By contrast, taking ownership flips the script. It puts you in control. When you fully accept that you are responsible for outcomes in your life, your energy shifts from blaming the outside world to taking decisive action that directly influences your results. Owning your life is more than acknowledging responsibility. It is about making choices deliberately without excuses. Life will throw challenges, setbacks, and failures at you constantly. Some of these are outside your control, but how you respond is entirely within it. Those who succeed do not wait for perfect conditions. They act strategically within the circumstances they face. They recognize that failure and discomfort are inevitable, but they refuse to allow these obstacles to define their destiny. Ownership requires courage, accountability, and relentless focus on solutions rather than problems. Excuses are the biggest barrier to ownership. People often rationalize inaction by saying they are waiting for the right moment, the right resources, or the right level of confidence. These excuses provide temporary relief from discomfort but permanently stunt growth. Taking ownership means refusing to accept excuses internally or externally. It means asking, what can I do right now with what I have, rather than why isn't this easier? Every action you take under these constraints strengthens your control over your life, while every excuse reinforces helplessness. A key component of ownership is accountability. When you own your life, you do not blame others for mistakes or failure, and you do not rely on praise or recognition to validate your actions. Accountability means setting standards for yourself and committing to meet them regardless of external factors. It also means learning from failures instead of deflecting responsibility. Each failure becomes an opportunity to improve, refine your strategy, and reinforce self-discipline. Accountability transforms setbacks into lessons and reinforces self-trust, which is essential for long-term success. Ownership requires decisiveness. Waiting for someone else to direct your actions or make choices on your behalf is a form of abdication. Every decision you delay is an opportunity lost. Successful people act swiftly and intentionally because they understand. That momentum is created by decisive action, not hesitation. Acting in uncertainty is uncomfortable, but it is essential. Even imperfect decisions, executed decisively, produce learning, feedback, and forward motion. Hesitation, on the other hand, guarantees stagnation. Another critical aspect of owning your life is self-reliance. While collaboration and mentorship are valuable, the foundation of success is your ability to depend on yourself. You must trust your judgment, cultivate skills independently, and take responsibility for results rather than hoping others will carry you. People who wait for others to solve their problems often find themselves powerless when help is unavailable. Self-reliance is not isolation, it is competence, confidence, and ownership combined, creating resilience against life's uncertainties. Owning your life also reshapes your mindset. When you fully internalize responsibility, you stop asking, why me? Or why now? And start asking, what can I do? And what's next? This shift transforms challenges into opportunities and obstacles into training. It empowers you to see possibilities where others see barriers. Your sense of agency grows, and with it comes the courage to pursue ambitious goals that others might consider unreachable. Ownership turns fear into fuel because you realize that the only limits that truly matter are the ones you accept. Time management is another element of ownership, owning your life means understanding that every day, every hour, and every choice matters. Wasted time is wasted life. Those who take ownership are deliberate about where they invest energy and attention. They prioritize actions that move them closer to their goals and refuse to let distractions, comfort, or procrastination dictate their schedule. By treating time as a resource they control, they ensure that each day compounds into meaningful progress. Ownership is not a temporary state. It is a mindset that must be consistently reinforced. It requires constant vigilance against excuses, avoidance, and blame. It demands persistence, discipline, and courage every day. Life will continue to throw unexpected challenges, but when you own your life, you meet these challenges with action rather than complaint. Ownership is what separates dreamers from doers, those who hope from those who achieve, and those who remain average from those who become extraordinary. Ultimately, owning your life is the gateway to empowerment and success. It transforms you from a passive participant into an active creator of your destiny. When you accept full responsibility for your actions, decisions, and results, you gain control over your trajectory. You stop waiting for rescue, stop blaming circumstances, and stop hoping for luck. Every setback becomes an opportunity, every decision becomes a step forward, and every challenge becomes a proving ground. True freedom, growth, and achievement emerge only when you recognize that no one is coming to save you, and that is exactly the moment when your power begins. Being busy is one of the most deceptive traps on the path to success. At first glance, it looks productive. People see a full schedule, constant meetings, endless emails, and a barrage of tasks. And they assume that activity equals achievement. Busy people appear important, occupied, and energetic. However, activity and productivity are not the same. You can spend all day in motion reacting to distractions and solving small problems and yet move nowhere meaningful toward your ultimate goals. The danger of busyness is that it provides a sense of accomplishment while masking stagnation. It keeps people occupied but often prevents real progress. The difference between being busy and being productive lies in intentionality. Busy people respond to what demands attention. productive people focus on what truly matters, the urgent often masquerades as important, and without careful prioritization, much of our effort is wasted. Productive individuals identify the high-leverage activities, the tasks that generate the greatest impact for the time invested and focus their energy there. They do not confuse mere motion with meaningful progress. Understanding this difference is critical because it determines whether the time you spend each day builds toward extraordinary outcomes or merely fills hours with activity. Busy work is often a form of avoidance. People fill their schedules with tasks that feel safe, easy, or familiar because these actions provide the illusion of accomplishment without requiring risk, creativity, or difficult decisions. Checking emails, attending unnecessary meetings, or completing minor errands can make someone feel productive while distracting from high-value work. Avoidance preserves comfort but stifles growth. Real progress requires tackling difficult problems, taking risks, and focusing on the actions that directly influence long-term outcomes. Busyness allows avoidance to masquerade as purpose. Another danger of busyness is inefficiency. Without reflection, people continue performing tasks out of habit rather than necessity. Routines become autopilot, and effort is wasted on activities that do not contribute meaningfully to results. The mind becomes accustomed to constant motion, equating activity with success, even when outcomes remain unchanged. Over time, this habit erodes both effectiveness and clarity. Many professionals and entrepreneurs reach midlife having been busy for decades, only to realize that very little of what consumed their time actually advanced their goals or created lasting value. Business also consumes energy that could be applied to high-impact work. High-leverage activities like strategic planning, creative problem-solving, learning new skills, and building meaningful relationships often require focus, patience, and deliberate thought. These tasks can feel uncomfortable or less urgent, so they are postponed in favor of tasks that produce immediate but superficial results. By constantly prioritizing what feels urgent over what is important, people sacrifice long-term growth for short-term motion. Recognizing and eliminating low-value tasks is essential to break free from the trap of busyness. Mental fatigue is another consequence of being overly busy. Constantly reacting to interruptions, notifications, and minor tasks creates stress, distraction, and cognitive overload. The brain becomes cluttered, leaving little energy for deep focus or high-quality work. Productivity requires mental bandwidth, clarity, and deliberate attention. Busy work drains these resources, reducing the ability to engage with challenges that matter. Exhaustion from busyness is often mistaken for hard work, but it is frequently wasted energy masquerading as effort. Another subtle impact of busyness is its effect on perception. People who are constantly busy often feel as though they are making progress. This perception can be misleading. A day packed with activity can feel productive, even if none of it advances meaningful goals. Without careful measurement and reflection, people celebrate effort rather than results, confusing motion with accomplishment. Long term, this can create regret, months or years spent in constant activity only to discover that meaningful achievements remain minimal. Prioritization is the antidote to busyness. Productivity requires intentional choices about where to invest time and energy. High achievers are disciplined about saying no to unimportant tasks and distractions, focusing instead on activities that create significant value. This often requires courage, as declining requests or breaking habitual patterns can be uncomfortable. The payoff, however, is enormous: more impact, less wasted energy, and progress toward goals that truly matter. Understanding the difference between urgent and important is essential to focus your effort where it counts. Busyness also limits personal growth. When time is consumed by low-value activities, there is little room for learning, reflection, skill development, or strategic thinking. Growth requires intentional investment in activities that stretch your abilities and increase your potential. Busy work crowds out these opportunities. Someone can spend decades appearing industrious yet remain fundamentally unprepared for bigger challenges, opportunities, or breakthroughs. Conscious focus on high-leverage work is what enables growth and long-term achievement. Technology and connectivity exacerbate busyness. Notifications, emails, and constant digital distractions pull attention from meaningful work. Without disciplined boundaries, external demands dictate your schedule rather than your priorities. Mastery of productivity requires control over inputs, deliberate scheduling, and minimizing unnecessary interruptions. High performers create systems to ensure that their time and energy are applied where they have the greatest impact. Ultimately, being busy is a trap that confuses motion with progress. It keeps people occupied while their goals remain stagnant. Productivity, in contrast, is deliberate, focused, and outcome-oriented. It requires saying no to distractions, choosing high-value actions, and investing effort where it matters most. Understanding this distinction is essential because your life and career are shaped not by how busy you were, but by how effectively you use your time and energy. Busy work may feel important, but true achievement comes from focused, intentional action on what actually moves the needle.